Hey guys, it's Protendo, and I don't think it's a secret to say that I, like many Animal Crossing fans, have been pretty disappointed with the updates in New Horizons. I mean, sure, they started off alright. In the first few months of New Horizons release, we got features like bushes, art, and swimming added into the game. Granted, these are all old features that we had back on the decade-old 3DS, but they still provided something new and interesting to New Horizons specifically, creating new incentive for players to sink more time into the game. But in 2021, these updates have been nothing short of abysmal. We began with the Festival update in January, which was actually on the meatier side of this year's offerings. It of course added the Festival event into the game, as well as a handful of new reactions, but that was it. Following Festival, we had the Mario update in February, which literally did nothing but add a few Mario furniture pieces to the game. I mean, the pipe's kinda cool, I guess, but that was really the only thing of note that it provided. After that, we got the Sanrio update, which was probably the best one of the year. I don't really care for the Sanrio animals myself, considering they're essentially just paywalled scalper bait and I don't even find them all that interesting from a design perspective. But this update actually did add something useful, 50 new design slots to the menu. This is the exact type of small quality of life addition that you think New Horizons would have dozens of at this point, but unfortunately, it's the only one of its kind. Nevertheless, it's a welcome inclusion. And after the Sanrio update, we saw things really start to fall off. In April, we were given 1.10 of Animal Crossing New Horizons, which was just nothing. Outside of a handful of new items, the update quite literally did nothing, aside from re-adding events that were already in the game a year prior. After that, we didn't receive any news on New Horizons for 3 months. This caused many fans to believe that the game might finally receive a content-filled 2.0 update that would actually bring new content to the series, or at the very least see the return of highly requested old features and characters. But nope, we got the exact same thing as the update from April, alongside a half promise for new content later this year that honestly just comes off as being damage control. The Animal Crossing community has never been more divided or disappointed than we currently are. While, of course, there are still millions of people enjoying New Horizons to this day, there's a sizable portion of the community that feels completely underwhelmed with the latest Animal Crossing entry, and it feels like that part of the fanbase is growing in numbers every day. Now, as you guys know, I gave up on expecting content from New Horizons a while ago, so amidst all this drama and discourse revolving around the game, there was really only one option for me to pursue: go back to New Leaf. And among the dozens, maybe hundreds of things this game does better than New Horizons, there was something about it that I realized I kind of took for granted until I had to go through the current game's mishandling of the idea. Animal Crossing New Leaf's content update, welcome Amiibo. Animal Crossing New Leaf's launch and Animal Crossing New Horizons launch were actually pretty similar. Not in terms of content, of course, but in terms of reception. Both games were almost universally praised upon their releases, being given 9s and 10s, and even getting called one of the best video games on their respective systems. But unlike New Horizons, New Leaf was actually able to keep that praise throughout its entire lifetime. While New Horizons started to face controversy mere months after being in the hands of players, New Leaf's reputation stayed strong, holding the same reactions it had at launch for years. And seeing that the game had such incredible success, both critically and financially, Nintendo realized that there was more to be done with the title. In its first 3 entries, Animal Crossing wasn't able to be updated. The GameCube, DS, and Wii didn't offer any official way of receiving patches, meaning that the form a game took at launch would be the form it stayed, well, forever. However, the 3DS was perfectly capable of releasing updates for its titles, and Nintendo used this in a couple of different ways. Patches were of course the main thing done, giving games tiny updates after launch if people found glitches or general annoyances with certain functions. But more interestingly, we also began to get DLC, both free and paid for certain titles on the system. And New Leaf's Welcome Amiibo update was one of the most notable examples of this kind of inclusion. Being released about 3.5 years after New Leaf launched, Welcome Amiibo was a major update and provided numerous new features to a game that people were just beginning to get tired of. It gave us new and returning characters, Amiibo functionality, a new form of currency, hundreds of new furniture pieces, numerous quality of life features, an extremely well executed precursor to Nook Miles, a new house upgrade, a whole new location in your town, 2 new minigames, new music, new casual designs, and dialogue for dozens of special characters. You could sell your town, sit on rocks, you get the picture, it was big. And after a year and a half of updates, New Horizons still hasn't gotten close to what New Leaf did with 1. But I know what a lot of you must be thinking. It's easy for me to say that New Leaf's update was better without acknowledging the time difference between the two. Yes, it's true that New Leaf took 3.5 years to dish out a single update, while New Horizons has only been receiving additional content for about a year and a half. But there's a reason why it worked with New Leaf and hasn't for New Horizons. And to put it simply, it's because of how the games were at launch. I've already gone over how packed with content New Leaf is in numerous videos at this point, so I'll be quick here as to not sound redundant. This game has so much to do. While New Horizons has 2 shops, New Leaf had more than 15. While New Horizons added 8 new animals to the game, New Leaf added 100 and 2 new personality types to make things interesting, as well as 2 new species. Aside from visuals and designing, I can't undersell how this game beats New Horizons at every turn, including longevity. And that's the main difference between what New Leaf did and what New Horizons is trying to do. New Leaf released as a full game and the definitive peak of the series, and then later received an update right when fans were getting tired that was filled to the brim with content and quality of life features that were a result of the developers listening to years of feedback. New Horizons launched as an incomplete experience that clearly needed more time in the oven, with the idea of, we can finish this stuff later. The fact that basic features like swimming and art weren't in the game at launch is clear evidence of this, but even more so is the stuff that's still missing. Here we are, a year and a half after the game released, and we're still missing half of the lovable cast the series is known for. Quality life features that would take next to no development time, such as bulk crafting, are still nowhere to be seen, and we're left with a game that's left many of the series' core fans feeling empty. The worst part is that New Horizons' update system could have worked fine. The concept of an Animal Crossing game that gets new content every few months isn't terrible, but it's all about how it was approached. The update model is being used as a scapegoat to try to make up for New Horizons' lackluster launch, not as an authentic means of trying to bring compelling new content to a starving fanbase. So, even though New Horizons has been a big disappointment to me personally, I'm still glad to return to New Leaf or any of the past games in the series when I need my Animal Crossing fix, despite how embarrassing it is to see games that are over a decade old completely mopping the floor with the series' newest entry. I mean, can you sit on rocks in New Horizons? That in and of itself should tell you which game in the series is superior. But anyways guys, that's about it for this video. As always, I'd love to hear what you think. Is Animal Crossing New Leaf Welcome Amiibo as good as I made it out to be? And what are your thoughts on how New Horizons is handling updates? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you all later. Protendo out.